needs to click into place. Success depends on a cycle that's been part of a woman's life since puberty. With a new medical imaging technique developed especially for this series, we can see inside Philippa. Nestling deep in her pelvis lies Philippa's uterus, her womb. It's a mass of muscle in which a baby could one day grow. From the top of the uterus on either side comes a fallopian tube, reaching out towards one of her ovaries, here colored white. This is where her lifetime store of eggs is waiting. They were all formed when Philippa was just an 8-week-old embryo. At puberty, something remarkable happened. Inside Philippa's brain, a tiny gland, her pituitary, signaled to her ovaries to start to release some of those eggs. Since then, month after month, that's what's happened. And though it's never been shown on television before, you're about to see what ovulation looks like. We're inside one of the fallopian tubes, heading towards the ovary, and at the end of the tube, there it is. That huge white moon is her ovary. Inside it is an egg about to be released. Suddenly, the surface of the ovary breaks, revealing a red wound. It looks enormous, but it's actually only a couple of millimeters across. The end of the fallopian tube rubs against it in time with the woman's pulse. Then, at the bottom of the wound, a tiny hole appears, and hidden within is the egg. A strand of sticky, almost see-through cells is pulled away by the rubbing fallopian tubes. They're nurse cells, up to 5 million of them, ready to feed and nurture the egg. The egg itself is deep within them. This is ovulation. It will happen just 400 times in a woman's life. It is the beginning of the possibility of new life. As the egg is pulled from the ovary into the fallopian tube, the race to pregnancy has begun. Inside the folds of the fallopian tube, the egg and its sticky entourage are squeezed along. But time is already running out. The egg has perhaps just 24 hours to be fertilized. After that, it'll die. And to be fertilized, it needs to meet a vital ingredient: sperm. I'm sometimes asked, what's the best way to make sure a sperm meets an egg in those vital 24 hours? The answer's rather technical. Have sex and have it often. As our bodies come nearer and nearer to orgasm, every part gears up in anticipation. Sperm have to travel through the tangle of tubing in the testicle to the end of the erect penis. It's a distance of nearly a meter. The white fluid therein is mainly nutrients for their long journey ahead. At orgasm, huge muscular contractions propel the fluid on its final ride through the man's body and into the woman's. And now, inside the vagina, sperm face the first of many mortal dangers. The walls of a woman's vagina are coated in acid to protect her from infection by bacteria. But it's lethal to sperm. Within minutes, the walls are littered with the corpses of millions. And within an hour, most of the 500 million sperm that set off are dead. Yet the woman's body can help, as well as hinder, the sperm's progress. It's possible that the contractions of her orgasm help to draw sperm into her uterus. Or even that the junction between the vagina and the uterus, her cervix, is dipped time and time again into a pool of waiting sperm. It's also likely that in the hours after sex, the uterus itself contracts, helping to carry the sperm on their way. Even so, the sperm have been all but annihilated. Only a few thousand will complete the journey across her uterus and into her fallopian tubes. Then, minutes, hours, or even days after they started out, the sperm that have struggled so far will find what they set out for. Deep in the folds of the fallopian tube, here magnified 1,000 times, an egg. As they get near, the sperm are lured towards their goal by a chemical signal sent out from the egg. Each sperm carries in its head all the genetic information the man will contribute, and this now needs to meet with the mother's genetic information waiting inside the egg. Suddenly, one of the sperm, which has been burrowing into the wall of the egg, breaks right through. Inside the egg, the genetic information is gathered in 2 tiny balls. Details from Philippa are in one, and from Jeff in the other. In a moment, the information will fuse together. And the instant that happens, the unique inherited characteristics of a new life will be fixed. All the information from Philippa and Jeff is now there to determine whether their baby will be a boy or a girl, tall or short, have blue eyes or brown, even whether it's predisposed to heart disease or certain kinds of cancer. But as yet, the baby itself does not exist. In fact, the chances of the fertilized egg surviving are far from certain. Some will do nothing, but just over half will do this. It makes a copy of itself and divides. Again,